In this movie, we'll apply what we've been learning in this chapter to see how to update a web page when an element on the page changes. You'll see that I've got another directory here inside Sites directory called Ajax_category select. This is included in the exercise files if you have access to those. Let's open them up in our Atom text editor and take a look. First, let's look at index.html. This is going to be a basic HTML page, and it has a div which has an ID of form. Now, it's not actually a form. It would have a form tag if that were the case. I'm just simulating or suggesting the idea of a form. On that form, though, we have a question. Which category are you interested in? Then maybe we're asking a customer for more information, or maybe this is a form that's allowing someone who's using our website to get to the kind of information that they're looking for on the website. So we have a category select, and this is a select option. That's the kind of drop-down menu where you click on it, you choose an option. The first one is going to just say, please select. It's disabled so that we can't actually choose it, but it is selected right at the start. And then we have three options: furniture, lighting, or accessories. Those are our main categories, and they have values of 1, 2, and 3 associated with each one. Then we have another select for subcategory select, which is empty. There are currently no options. What I want to do is I want to be able to send an AJAX request whenever the category select changes and have the result that comes back be a list of subcategories that we can use to populate the second select. If we take a look at our JavaScript, you can see I've already got quite a bit of that written out. Let's jump down below update subcategories and first see the event binding that we're doing. So we have get element by ID down here, and it's looking for category select. So it's going to find that category selector, and then it's going to tell that selector to add an event listener on change. Before we've been working with click, now we're working with change. So whenever it changes, it's going to call the function update subcategories. Update subcategories is similar to the AJAX functions we've been working with in the past. We're going to find the category selector and the subcategory selector so that we can work with them. We're going to figure out what the currently selected value is. We're going to do that by telling the selector to take all of its options and then return the option that has the selected index. Now, that's not the ID, that's the selected index. It's either 0, 1, 2, or 3. It's the index used by select to know which one has been picked. So that's how we know which option is selected, and then we can get its value to get the actual ID. So once we have the value, we'll know the category ID. We'll be able to send a request. It's going to be a GET request that we'll send to subcategories.php category ID equal to that category ID that we just found. We'll send an AJAX request, and when the response comes back, we'll just update the subcategory selector with the response text for now. Okay, so that all should be pretty straightforward, and we've seen that before. Let's take a look at subcategories.php. At the beginning, I just have a list of categories. Now, this is the kind of information that would be great to put in a database, but rather than try to build a whole database just for this one example, I'm going to simulate that by having an array with arrays inside of it. So we have a categories array, and the first category is furniture, then we've got lighting, and then we've got accessories. And each one of those has subcategories. And if we look at those subcategories, you'll see we've got beds, benches, cabinets, chairs and stools, consoles and desks, sofas and tables. And then for lighting, we've got ceiling, floor, table, wall. And for accessories, we have mirrors, outdoor and patio, pillows, rugs, wall decor, and art. Okay, so those are the subcategories. What we want to do is be able to find the currently selected category and then return its subcategories as options. Down here, I've already got code written to find out what the current category ID is that's been sent in as a parameter in our GET request. Then to go through each of the categories and check to see if the current category ID matches that ID, then we'll know that that's the current category that's being requested. Then all we have to do is find its subcategories and return something back to the AJAX. Okay, so now we have to make a choice though. What are we going to return? We can return HTML. We can actually put together an HTML string with option tags and all the ID values that we need and send that back. Or we can send back JSON. We saw how to do that in the last movie. We could send back just this array right here and call JS encode on it and pass that back. And then our JavaScript could take care of assembling the string that it needs to put into that spot. It's really up to you. Both approaches work. If you happen to be really good at JavaScript, you may prefer the second approach. You may want to just stick with working with JavaScript. For me, I find it much easier to work in PHP and to work writing my HTML right here on this page. So that's what I'm going to do here. So instead of having this, now we're going to say, well, we know what our subcategories ought to be. Subcategories equals the current category, the one that we're working with, and its subcategories. All right, so then let's make another loop that'll go through each of those. I'm just going to copy and paste that in so you don't have to watch me type it and I won't make mistakes. Just indent that a bit. There we go. Let's take a look at it together. So for each of the subcategories, as subcategory, I'm going to loop through, and for each one, I'm going to output the option, the value, which is its ID, and then subcategory name will be the label that we see, and then we'll close the option tag. So it's going to loop through, and for each one, it's going to generate that option, and because I'm echoing it, I'm dynamically outputting that to this page, therefore it gets returned. Let's try it all out. Save it. Let's go to Firefox, and let's try loading up instead of Ajax JSON, category select. There we are. What category are you interested in? You can see right now there's nothing in that subcategory. Please select. I have furniture, lighting, and accessories. And when I choose furniture, voila, beds, benches, cabinets, you see the list. When I change it again to lighting, it sends another Ajax request. It comes back with a different value. Accessories, there we go, mirrors, right? Every time I do it, it makes another request to the server to get those values. Now I want to make one more improvement before we leave this. If we load the page to begin with, we have this empty subcategory here, and that's just not very attractive. So I'm going to go back to my index.html page, and up at the top in the head section, I'm going to add style tags. Style. And in there, I'm going to put one style, which is going to be subcategory select. I'm going to tell it display none. So now it should not show. Let's go back, reload our page. Sure enough, it doesn't show. Well, it's not going to show all the time. Even if I populate with data, it's still going to be hidden. I need to add another line down here that says after I've populated the inner HTML with my result, let's also tell subcat select to make a change to its style. Style display equals inline, and that will make it appear again. All right, so let's go back and let's try that out. Reload the page. It's not showing. As soon as I choose furniture, now it appears. It populates and it appears. And it stays there all the time now. It's only not visible when nothing is selected. And it's not possible to choose please select again, right? It's disabled. So I'm always choosing an option. So it's okay if it stays visible all the time. You also could have an alternative version of this where you could make it invisible again as well. But for our purposes, that works great. Hopefully by now, you're beginning to feel comfortable with this process. The idea of submitting a JavaScript request to the server, having PHP assemble a response that it sends back, and then having the JavaScript handle that response in the browser in a way that's appropriate.